Well, hey everyone, this is Troy at Chick-a-Woof Ranch, and today we're going to overseed our pasture. Well, hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. This is one of our main pastures for our dairy goats. This is, we'll call this pasture number 1. And don't mind those dead trees right there. We're going to be taking those out this year. But we are going to be overseeding this pasture and this smaller pasture right here. This is about 1 acre. This is where our dairy goat bucks are. And let's see, this last weekend I mowed the dead grass that was left over from the winter. And now we are going to overseed the pasture with, I've got alfalfa, red clover, white clover, chicory, and brome hay. So let me show you our third pasture. Okay, this is our third pasture right here. This one is about 1.5 acres. Pasture number 1 was 2.5 acres, and pasture number 2 was 1 acre. As you can see, our goats are on pasture number 3, and so we'll be working mostly on pasture number 1 today to leave these guys alone. We'll probably get to pasture number 3 on the weekend. So what we have mostly here is fescue and Bermuda grass in our pastures. And if you remember last year, I planted some red clover I think it was white clover. I think it was white clover in the pasture number 1 last year, and it did okay, except the problem that we had last year was right after I planted it, we got like 2 inches of rain, and I think most of it washed into the lower areas, and it did really good in the lower areas, but not throughout the whole pasture. So we are going to try and do a better job of planting the seed this year, and then that means, well, I'll show you what that means here in a minute. But first, we need to get our seed mixed up, and it is right up there on the picnic table. So let's head over there and I'll show you what we're gonna do. All right, so I am just gonna point at everything and you're gonna have to look at my finger, sorry. All right, so right here we have the strut and rut, and that is the white clover. There is 3.5 pounds of the white clover. We've got, how many pounds is that? 5 pounds of the medium red clover right here. This is alpha. That right there is the alfalfa, and there's 7 pounds of that. And we've got 2 pounds of chicory, and I don't remember how much brome we got. Let me look. We got brome grass, we got 20 pounds of that. Okay? So what I'm gonna talk about is, well, with the video that I did last year, the clover and alfalfa needs to be inoculated, and that's right here. And if you want to see more about that, you can go to our previous video, and I'll link that up in the top right corner, and talking about the inoculation and what that does for the seed and the pasture and what that does. So what we briefly what we're going to do is we're going to add the water to the seed and put the inoculant in and just kind of let it do its thing, and then it's supposed to dry. So I'm going to do that off camera per the instructions on the inoculant, and I'll let you read that if you want to pause the video. So I have plenty of inoculant to do all the seed that we have, and thank you. Okay, so where did I get the seed? I got the seed from our local feed and seed store, Valley Feed and Seed. They've been here for a long time here in Wichita, Kansas, and they were really great to work with. He got basically the mixture that we needed for our dairy goats, and so he's really good with working with me on what we needed and really custom fit kind of what we wanted to see happen with our pasture. So he suggested all of these things for us. The goats love the brome. They obviously love alfalfa. I'm not sure how they feel about the clover, because they did eat it last year, but it was not until late in the fall, when it was the very last thing that was green before the grass died in the winter. So and the chicory, he thought that would be a good addition. We just kind of wanted to mix up kind of what would come in season throughout the year, and he thought the chicory would be a good addition. So really, by adding all of these different grasses, what we're doing is allowing the goats to pick and choose what they want when they want it. So instead of having to choose just from the Bermuda and the fescue that we have right now, because they've eaten all the weeds and they've killed a lot of the trees, so that's all they got left is the fescue and Bermuda. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mix all this up. I'm not going to show that because I'm kind of running low on battery, and I want to show you what we're going to do out in the pasture here in just a moment. So let me get this all mixed up, and then I'll show you what we're going to do in the pasture here in just a moment. Okay, I've got everything mixed up. You can see the little white seeds, that's the chicory. Everything else is kind of either a yellow or kind of a orange or red color. It's really pretty. They're all about the same size, so I'm real confident that we're going to get a good germination here just from the experience from last year. Alright, so this is all mixed up. Brome's ready to go. We're going to plant the brome separate because it is a much larger seed. It looks like your typical grass seed. So we are going to plant that separately, but we're going to try and get this in the ground today. So let's head over to the barn and I'll show you what we got going on over there. Okay, so what the plan is we need to aerate pasture number 1, and then we're going to put the seed down, and then we're going to take our drag and go over the whole pasture to kind of help get the seed in contact with the ground. Okay, so here's what I got this winter. I got this aerator, and if you follow us on Instagram, you'll know that I got this a few months ago, and I got a really good deal on it, and it's a really nice one. It's made in Ohio. It's like made out of real steel, and so it's real nice. I got my cinder blocks on there already. So what we're going to do is we're just going to drag that out in the pasture kind of randomly in a sort of kind of pattern, because we need to get this like done tonight. It's 5:30 and it gets dark about 7:30, so we're gonna try and get this pasture done tonight. And then here, don't laugh. This is the drag that I made to go over the seed once we get it on the ground, and that'll just help with the grass that I cut this last weekend. It'll help cover the seed up and get it in contact with the ground. All right, let me show you what we're doing with the aerator. See what it's doing? It's poking tiny little thousands of holes in the pasture, and hopefully those seeds, well, at least some of them, will get down in those little holes. That's what we're shooting for. Okay, I've got the drag hooked up. I need to go out and plant some seeds, so that's next. Okay, so we've got the alfalfa and chicory and clover down, so we're gonna go in the house and get the brome, and then we'll go distribute that. We'll probably do that by hand. I don't know how my spreader will do with such a big seed, so we'll do that by hand. All right, here's what the brome hay looks like. It looks just like fescue, or your regular grass seed. That's what it looks like. All right, well, for this I'm gonna hand spread it on the field, and that's gonna take a while. All right, here we go. I've got the brome seed down, and now I'm going to use the tractor to drag over the brome and the clover, and hopefully that will get it mixed in with my mulch that we cut this last week. And thankfully it rained this last week. It was about an inch about 3 days ago, so this is perfect timing to get this done. Well, the sun's going down, and I'll probably be doing this into the night because I need to get this done before this grass grows up too tall. Anyway, well, thank you so much for watching Chick-a-Woof Ranch. I hope you learned something, and again, if you have any questions or comments, just leave them down below, and we'll see you next time on the next video. Bye.